Flight attendant didn't let the 87-year-old woman into business class, but when they learned who she was, they were shocked. Mrs. Wilson had never been on a plane before, and when she arrived at the airport, she felt overwhelmed and confused. She followed a group of passengers, assuming they knew where to go, which led her in the wrong direction. Fortunately, an airport employee helped her find the correct gate just in time for her flight. Though Mrs. Wilson wore her best clothes, people mistook her for someone poor or homeless. At the boarding area, she felt nervous and was even avoided by other passengers. When she finally boarded and found her seat in business class, a man named Mr. Thompson, who was seated next to her, became visibly upset. He questioned why he had to sit next to her despite paying extra for business class. The flight attendant tried to calm him, showing that Mrs. Wilson had the same type of ticket. But Mr. Thompson insisted on being rude until he saw a photo of a young man fell from Mrs. Wilson's bag. Mr. Thompson picked the photo up and returned it to her, and Mrs. Wilson explained that the boy in the picture was her son, who was actually the pilot of their flight. This revelation caught everyone's attention, and she began to share her life story. Mrs. Wilson grew up in a poor family. Her father died during World War II, leaving her to help raise her siblings. She later met her fiancé, Jack, but both Jack and her mentally challenged brother died in a fire. Left homeless, she moved with her mother into a small shack. After giving birth to her son, Kevin, she was forced to put him in an orphanage to protect him from her mother, who had developed dementia. Years later, after her mother died, she tried to get Kevin back, but found out he had been adopted. She spent years searching for him and only recently discovered he was a pilot. Hearing her story, the pilot made an announcement, telling everyone that his mother was on board and that he loved her. The passengers applauded, and after landing, Mrs. Wilson reunited with her son, giving him the family heirloom she had kept for years.